Welcome to this week's Coffee Talk. I'm Chad.
I'm Sean.
And today we're going to be talking to you about FHA loans. FHA loans. So let's kick us off, kickstart it. Go ahead with what questions you might have or what it looks like.
Yeah, first of all, FHA loans, super cool. So we want to run through that and kind of explain it in further detail.
Yeah.
Super useful for you guys. So first of all, one of the main things associated with FHA loans is you are putting 3.5% down on a house.
Yeah, that's going to be the biggest benefit. I mean, there's all kinds of different programs out there, but we're going to talk FHA specifically today. Try and talk about some of the benefits of FHA loans and some of the things that might not be great or whatever it is. But right out of the gate, the biggest benefit of an FHA loan is the minimum down payment required is typically less. And that's 3.5%. And that's for anybody. That's a little bit different than on a conventional loan. They actually have a minimum payment of 3%, but you have to be qualified for that. You have to be a first-time home buyer for that, compared to an FHA loan that as long as you're buying your primary property, it doesn't matter whether you're a first-time home buyer or not, you can put a 3.5% down payment. And another really cool thing about that differentiates itself from the conventional side is that the 3.5% can be gifted. So you can get that from a family member or brother, sister, cousin, or whatever it is. The whole 3.5% can be gifted, which again is a little bit different from the conventional side of things.
Yeah, super great benefit. And if you if you don't have a lot of funds to put down on a home, or you're just looking to spend maybe not as much as putting 10 or 15% down, it's a great option for you. So that's, like you said, one of the main benefits, and it's really cool. So obviously there are some more specifics, and a lot of people might think that an FHA loan is actually a first-time homebuyer loan, and they are similar, like you mentioned. 3% down is for a first-time homebuyer loan, whereas 3.5% down is for an FHA loan.
Right.
So is there any sort of restrictions on maybe how many FHA loans I can have? Can I only ever get one? What would you say to that?
Yeah, you could definitely have more than one. It is kind of based on an exception, and I won't say necessarily exception. I mean, there are specific guidelines around if you have an FHA loan and you're converting that one, to a rental property per se, and you're getting another FHA house. There are some rules and some guidelines around that. But again, it is typically marketed towards somebody who needs their first home or somebody who's buying just that one home over there and then putting 3.5% down for sure.
Definitely. And it's a more flexible loan too, which is one thing we want to point out. The minimum credit requirement is a 580 credit score, whereas conventional is going to be around 620.
Right.
So it's more flexible, like we've been talking about. It requires less of a down payment. So there's more wiggle room with an FHA loan if you have concerns about qualifying for maybe a conventional or any other type of loan program. This is a great program, really flexible. So that's super cool as well.
Yeah, I would definitely expand on that flexibility, and that's where a lot of people get the misnomer that FHA loan is for bad credit, and that's just not true. You don't have to have bad credit in order to have an FHA loan be the better option. That doesn't mean that it's the only option. It just means that if you have good credit, FHA loan might be the best option, even if you had good or bad credit. And so it's definitely something that has got a bad rap. It just means that FHA is more flexible with their down payments, obviously, with their credit scores. They have better interest rates with worse scores, I should say. So if you have a lower score, you're going to get a better interest rate with an FHA loan than if you had a lower score compared to a conventional loan. So it's not for people with bad credit. FHA is just more flexible with that.
Gotcha. That's well said. So another thing I wanted to get to is a lot of times online you'll see online personalities telling you, hey, you can get a home for 3.5% down, and while that is true, there are some nuances, I would say, to that, and you can't go buy $1 million home for 3.5% down. Yeah. And so there are some max loan amounts. So do you want to expand on that a little bit?
Yeah. So there's really two max loan amounts to talk about. So every year they change, right? They typically go up every year. As home prices go up every year, so do the maximum loan amounts that go up. So for FHA specifically, that has a max loan amount of $472,000. Now that's kind of nationwide. But for Maricopa specifically, it's $530,000. So FHA is a national program. They've recognized that Maricopa, amongst other counties in the country, is kind of a higher priced county, and so you can go up to $530,000. Which, by the way, I've been doing this when it was like $240,000. So that's just bananas. It's just crazy at $530,000 loan amount. But if it's $530,000 on a loan amount and you put 3.5% down, what's the max purchase price?
So that max purchase price is just going to be under $550,000, $549,000.
Man, spot on. There you go. So if you put if you buy a house for $549,000, you put 3.5% down, $530,000 would be the max. That would be the least amount of money out of pocket and the max purchase price that you could go. Now, obviously, you can go above that and put more money down, but if you wanted to put the least amount of money down, that's going to be the purchase price. And let alone if you got a down payment assistance, right? If you got some DPA, which we've expanded on in another video, so check that out. But again, with an FHA loan and down payment assistance, and maybe even a little bit of gift money or a little bit of seller concessions, which we're seeing a lot of now, you can buy a house for $549,000 with essentially no money out of pocket.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine? Like, that's crazy.
That is very crazy. Yeah. And that's one of the things that makes this program so great. It's super flexible. Like you said, DPA, seller concessions, you can really work it. So you can get a $549,000 house for almost nothing out of pocket.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that being said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. FHA loans are great. FHA loans aren't the only ones. Lots of different types of programs out there. So keep that in mind as you're having a conversation with your loan officer. Other than that, anything else to add?
I think that's all I got.
No? All right. Well, have a fantastic day, and we will see you on the next Coffee Talk.
Talk to you soon.